And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Connected for Real podcast. I am so excited to be here today with a solo episode. I have something very important to tell you. I ran a training, a free training this week called How to Stop Fighting with Your Husband About Your Business. And it was powerful, but what happened after that was even more powerful because suddenly, because of the training and everything that I put together in my mind and all the puzzle pieces that had to come together in order to create that training, suddenly something inside me sparked and sort of exploded. And I had a breakthrough that I had to share with you. So, before we get started, I just want you to know that if you are on the fence and you've been listening for a while and you're like, one day I'll work with her and I hope and I wish, and it's something that I am like sitting around waiting for that just like fall onto my lap, this is a good time to join because if you join before March 31st, I think is the deadline, right? Like if you join before it turns April, you get two bonuses. One bonus is extra time with the program because Passover is in the middle. And I know that you're not going to have time to like sit and binge on everything. Maybe you will. Maybe I'm just assuming. But I want to give you extra time because I feel like I would want extra time if there was a holiday smack in the middle of my coaching. So you're getting extra time with the program so that you don't feel like you lost out. And this is something that I've never ever done before. And I want you to know before I even start talking about my breakthrough and everything that's been going on, you are getting an extra whole session. And I'm calling it a pre-Passover peace session because I want you to meet right away. After our discovery call, we could schedule right away before Passover if hopefully there's enough time in your schedule, if it works out for you, to create peace right now. Like to be able to pull all of the different parts of the situation that you're in to suddenly turn it around and create that breakthrough for you right before Passover so that you are going into the energy of newness with all of that capacity to contain it. Okay. So those are the two big bonuses that are happening right now and are expiring on March 31st. Please, please, please make sure to schedule your discovery call as soon as possible so that you can take advantage of the amazing bonuses. Somebody asked on a technical level if you schedule before March 31st, but the scheduled session itself or like the scheduled discovery call is after, is that okay? And yes, the answer is yes. If you don't find a good time on my schedule and you're like, oh, March 31st, there's not enough slots. I know a lot of people are trying to get in. So just pick whatever available appointment is in my calendar and I'll give you the bonus as long as you scheduled before March 31st. Okay, like the date of clicking schedule. So let's get into why you're fighting with your husband about your business because it's a big deal. I just wrote an email today and hopefully you're on my email list. And if you're not, make sure you get on it. Just go onto my website, Connected for Real, and find any place to put in your email and you will be on my email list. There is an experience that I feel is universal for women in business in particular. And that is the constant rubbing against the two worlds, the marriage and the business, and how you could sit in your business and be super focused and doing something. And then the back of your mind, like at the corner of your ear, there's this thing like, is my husband looking at my back being resentful or like is something going on outside this door that is making me antsy. There are these feelings that we have, antennas that we own that feed all these thoughts about what is my husband thinking about me right now? How is he judging what I am doing? Am I making enough money to make this worth it for him, that he sees me as valuable? All these little things. And when I say them, they sound a little bit like, what? Is that what I'm really thinking? But like, to me, it's just so important to call that out because a lot of the fighting is about waiting for that approval, waiting for my husband to see and really hold me and support me and cheerlead me. Is that even a word? Being a cheerleader, to cheerlead? Okay, whatever. Cheer me on. And also, there's this frustration that I'm holding it all and I'm doing it all. And like when I'm in my business, I have to think about my marriage and my kids and, peace and stuff. But also, when I'm in the home doing chores and doing things, like, why don't I feel as excited? And why do I feel so icky about doing regular things? And why do I feel like I actually belong doing bigger things? And this is not really making me light up, to say it lightly. So there is a rubbing there too, of like, I just feel like I enjoy being at work more. I enjoy being, seen and heard and appreciated when people are paying me and seeing my value. And I don't really appreciate when I am, you know, sort of not doing that. So it creates a little bit of an escape. Your business becomes your escape, your safe haven, the place where you feel like you could be your real self. But then it always rubs off the wrong way when you're not 100% with this, where, with this balance. So, one of the things I talked about in the training is that we fight because there's something worth fighting for. Okay. And this is a real statement. And, I just had a meeting with someone about a collaboration, and she said, "You're really bold. Like, you are saying things that nobody else is going to be able to say without getting, like, hey, what's going on?" But yeah, that's what I'm here to do. And that's also what I'm here to help you do. And this is what we're talking about, is we're fighting because there's something in our gut calling us, telling us this is what you're meant to do. And it's coming from God. God put that in you. He's calling you to be your best version of yourself because that's what you're here to do. You are here on purpose. And when you aren't owning that, that's when it starts to rub the wrong way, right? That's when you have to get help from outside to sharpen it and to sort of help you find yourself. So my daughter was recently interviewing me, and it was very cute because her high school had them interview someone who you think is awesome, and you get an extra 5 points if it's a parent or a grandparent, because they want to encourage them to actually talk to their own family. And so she picked me, which is so nice. And she asked me, "What is the meaning of life?" And that was like the big thing that they had to look at and look for. There was a bunch of questions. What's the meaning of life? How do you find the meaning of life? How did you find your meaning of life? And what would you tell me in order for me to find my meaning of life? It was a very good interview because it helped me tell her, and almost felt like for the first time, she's finally hearing what I've been talking about for years on the podcast and in my business. But the way she asked it, and the way, because she's so sharp, she really took it out of me in the best way possible. And I thought, isn't that amazing? If I didn't have you to, like, sort of like pick on me to tell it to you this way, I wouldn't be able to say it like that. It was so deep. It was so powerful. And by the way, I told her, I'm like, you have to write this interview out and publish it because it is so, so powerful. Now, you have to know about my 16-year-old. She wants to publish a book, or a bunch of them. She's been writing and she's so creative and she's so awesome. So I'm like, if this thing gets published, I'll be so excited. But this is exactly what we were talking about. And this happens also with our husbands. when he comes and butts heads against us, it's not because he's doing it on purpose. Is because that is his job. His job as your husband is to be there for you, to sharpen yourself, to point out for you what you don't see in yourself that needs sharpening. So it's almost like, you need two knives so you could sharpen the knife, right? Because like you're sharpening this knife, but you also are using the second knife as like the sharpening thing. I don't know why that came up to me, but my father is a shochet, which means like the rabbi who slaughters the meat. And so I, growing up, always saw him doing this with the knives. It was like, these big, awesome, and he was sharpening them. And he used to just like randomly in the middle of the park, if let's say we had a dull knife, he would, sharpen it to be better because that's skill. And I think that that is exactly why God put us here in this world and gave us a husband to do that for us. Now, we always know it as the wife is there to do it for her husband, right? So, what is a wife? Ezer kenegdo. In Hebrew, that means she's there to help, also to be like against him. Why? Because you need somebody to like, give you contra when you're trying to push and find the boundary. You need somebody to be there to help you, but also to be there to push, right? And it's nice that we've all grown up knowing that that is what a wife is, but hey, that is what every human is for each other. We are here to help each other and to give each other that contra that we need in order to find that deeper, more exact way to be ourselves. And when we're talking about fighting, stop fighting with your husband about your business was the title. I think of why is it so hard for us to be our authentic selves in this world is because for all of the years growing up, I don't know about you, but I was told don't show off, don't make other people think that you're a somebody, like just be normal, just, keep your stuff to yourself. If you're better than everyone else, don't go telling them. If you are, talented at something, don't go showing it off because it's just not nice. And so you just sort of learn to hide behind the normalness, It's just like it's fine, whatever. I don't have to share that with everybody. But then again, I don't have to share that with anybody. And it becomes this hidden secret. And, they say if you want to work on your self-development, you should open up a business. But I say just anything, be a mother, be a wife, do anything in this world, and you will be working on yourself because that is what God created the world for, to help us develop ourselves. And a lot of what happens when you open up a business is you have to go deep and you have to find your why and you have to understand what you're doing this for. It's not just about the money and it's not just about being famous and it's not just about, all these great things about leaving a legacy and all that stuff. It's really about getting in touch with that unique gift that you got. There is a superpower that God put inside you that He wants you to serve the world with. And if you can't face that and say, I have this superpower, I am doing this for that, I am here because, then you're going to be very mushy and very fuzzy and very unclear. And when you are not able to be honest and bold about your message, about why you're here, about what you're doing, that's when all these things are going to start getting at you. Like your husband's going to get on your nerves with silly questions like, why are you doing it this way? Or why are you paying for coaching? Or why are you, doing this sale? Or why are you launching this way? He thinks that he knows better and he's trying to like micromanage your money and your decisions and the way that you run the business. And you're like, could you stop? And all of that is happening because he is pushing you to stand up a little bit taller, strengthen your vertebrae. I don't know if that's a thing, but like your spine, right? Have like a stronger spine I'm like thinking in Hebrew. That came out and it was like, no, that's not how you say it in English. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. Stand up tall, own your stuff, know what you're worth, know why you're here, and then when he has a question, you can actually answer it without going into a whole fight because you know, right? So the contra is only there for you to sharpen, but as soon as you sharpen, as soon as you hear the question, or as soon as you understand that something isn't sharp enough, that something is fuzzy, that something isn't clear, you don't have to go into a whole loop of fight. You could just pause for a second and say, yeah, let me think about this, and I'll get back to you. And really hone in on what is my superpower. Now, this is much easier said than done, right? You're telling me become authentic, find your purpose, know what you're here to do, get in touch with your superpower, and everything will be fine. And actually, those are very big and scary things to do, especially alone. And that is why I have my program. Right? That is why I created my private coaching. So I used to have masterminds and I used to have groups, and I love that. And the women who were in it loved it too. But what I found was that you have such a unique situation in the way that your marriage, in the way that your business, in the way that you are in this world with God, with yourself, with everybody, that for you to be able to get the most out of our time together, we're going to go deep. We're going to go one-on-one, and we're going to really crack this thing. I don't do superficial. I just don't know how. I can't stand up there for too long. Like, when people start having like this, like, oh, so what's up? How are you? How are you? Yeah, the weather, whatever. It's nice. But I'm like, okay, can we talk about something really substantial? And that's something that if you know me for any length of time, you will know that I go very deep. And I also am very connected to God. So when I go deep, God is coming with me. And we are lighting up all of those very hidden places. I don't want to say dark because they're not the dark stuff. It's not, I don't go into the negativity. I'm very positive. It's the place that has that spark that has been hidden and protected because it's just not safe to say what you really think. It's not safe to have an opinion. It's not safe for you to show up in this way. It's not safe for you to want this. But I want to tell you that's wrong. It is safe. And the reason why we've been hiding from all these things is because we want to make peace. We're nice people. We don't want to make fights. We don't want to get on people's case. So because we're so nice and because we're so awesome, we have learned to just be okay with moving back. I'll just like give you more space. I'll allow the peace to happen because I gave in. And it's really nice to be that way. And, it's celebrated. I see my kids in daycare or whatever and gone, their teacher will say, "Oh, isn't it nice that you gave in? Yay, good job." And what we're teaching our kids is just give in, give in, give in. That's funny. It sounds like I'm speaking Hebrew and English at the same time, but you're gonna just have to, flow with me because I am, trilingual. Give in is nice in theory, and we see it working because there is peace when one person gives in, but it is not a long-term strategy. It is actually really, really bad for your marital peace. It is really bad for the harmony in your home. It is really, really terrible for your marriage and for your relationship, for your intimacy. It is terrible because what happens is that you can do this once, twice, three times for a time, for, a period of right now, maybe it's not the right time for me to like really stand up and say what I want, but like one day it's going to work out. But like when it starts to get too long, when you start to feel like you are not getting any space, you are shrinking, you are not breathing enough air because everyone else needs it, that's when you know there's a problem. And that's when you start to like snap at your husband for the silliest things because he just like touched this gigantic bubble of resentment and pain of all the years that you've just been pulling back. And then you wonder why you don't have a relationship that's connected on a deep level with your husband because you don't feel safe to say what you really want because you need to constantly be worrying about what he wants. You don't feel safe to go after the things you are that are important to you because you've always made room for everyone else. So now suddenly the fights are about, I just want my space already. I just want my air already. I just want to do the thing. Right? And that's when you know you are fighting something that is worth fighting for, but you're not doing it the right way. Fighting is not going to actually get you any closer to creating the peace and to getting your way. It's going to feel wrong because you're not in balance. So the balance that I want is not that you go and be like, hide, 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 and one day flip over to like, that's it. I've decided I'm not hiding anymore. And now I'm just going at it. I want you to back up a little bit and center yourself. If this is what God wants for me, and if this matters, because this is my purpose. This is, you can't hold it in. You cannot hide it for that long, right? There's a calling, there's a thing, there's just bursting out of you. It is bigger than you. That's the thing. So if I am realizing that there's something calling me and there's something bigger than me that wants to just explode out of me, the best way to do it, and it's fine if you went through the fighting and the whole like trying to find my balance thing, but the most important thing for you right now is to just pause and create balance, is pause and bring God into your business and your marriage and your life and yourself and just let's find balance. Let's realign. Let's create the authenticity from a place of groundedness and your ability to contain the breakthrough because there is a breakthrough waiting to happen. And the fighting is a way for your brain to say, let's just waste our time and energy over here fighting so that we don't actually have to move forward and create that breakthrough. But you want to be making substantial money. You want to be successful. You want your marriage to thrive. Like you want all these things. And instead, you're staying small because your brain is messing with you. So the fighting is not serving you. It is serving as a distraction. You want to follow the calling and become the person that you're being called to become. You want to be part of this bigger thing that is awaiting you. And all you need is the help to get there, the hand that is going to hold you and say, we can do this. I'm right here with you. Let's do it. And that is what I have found to be my superpower. So I have exercises that are really, really fun for you to really go deep into that authenticity. I call it awaken your authenticity. I found my why when I did this exercise a long time ago with Dr. Ozzy Jankovic. She did this for us and it was so life-changing. I was like, why are you in business? To help women, to this, to that, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of the whole conversation, what came out is that I am in business to bring God's presence home. Home to our home, right? And to your home, like the home. That's why I specialize in marriage because that is the core of the home. And I want that unit to be super strong because that is what creates peace. But also home to ourselves because when God dwells within us, then our experience is completely different. We see life through a different lens. We experience the world on a completely different level. And the third part of bringing God's presence home is home to his home, right? So I am very much working in all those parts in the global, universal type of like when we all rise, everybody rises with us. And so you can help one lady and she rises and her husband comes along and he starts to thrive and their kids are coming along and everybody who is in touch with them and attached to them is coming along. And suddenly you have an entire nation who is on a higher level and ready for something bigger, right? So that is a big goal. And that is a scary thing to say. And I'm able to say it because I've gone through this process with my coaches, in my journey. And I want you to have that, because that is the secret to how to stop fighting. That is the secret to how to create peace. That is the secret to how to break through all of those limitations and all of these walls and all of these layers that are holding you captive and holding you suffocating inside yourself. Okay? So that wasn't deep at all, was it? Like, now that I finished talking, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I took them too deep, and now they're like blown away. So I love you, and I think you can handle it. You are capable of going deep and realizing that, all of the superficial stuff of like, oh, my husband's, annoying, and he's fighting, and he's a narcissist, and he's, so critical, and he's negative, and those are all legit because that's the world you're living in. But I invite you to come out of that world and out of that narrative and out of that situation and create a new reality. Now, I have women who have signed up for me specifically so that they can, get help with the narcissism, the negativity, the criticism, and all of that stuff. And that's great because they actually get results and they see their lives are changing and their husbands are reacting differently and things are actually like falling into place. So it's awesome that that is your door to creating this work. But I also want you to realize that we're not, just like I have a friend who works with food mindset stuff, and she says, I just don't want people to come in thinking that their goal is to lose weight. I just, like, somebody will come and say like, I just want to lose X amount of pounds. And she says, yeah, that's nice, but like, I want for you to have a really great life. I want you to feel alive. I want you to breathe better. I want your body to, be able to not be on a roller coaster with all the sugar and the things and whatever. I want you to love sitting down to eat. And the lady is like, I don't care about those things. I just want to lose the weight. So I want to, same here, same here. I know that what you want is to have peace with your husband, for that, for him to stop being negative, for him to stop being this way, for, the fights to end. That's all legit. And that's probably going to happen when we go deep and start to strengthen and straighten and align all the parts that are under the ground and under the, under the surface. But I don't want you coming in thinking that, I'm just going to sign up and I'm going to fix my husband and it's going to be great, because it is the result that comes out of working with me, but it is not the only thing you should focus on. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of recent questions that came in that I want to address because I think that it's really important to talk about this. Number one is, I'm not ready to work so hard right now. Right? Like, the hard work is a big scary thing. It's like, if I sign up for coaching, it means I have to actually show up. It means I have to do the work. It means I have to, blah, 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 have a lot of things to do. And I want to just stop you right there. It is not true. It is not true. I want to tell you something about healing that this will help you understand. I was talking to someone last week and she said, yeah, but time heals. And I said, no, time by itself does not heal. Time on its own does not heal. You can have people 20 years after a trauma and they still did not heal. It still feels like it was yesterday, like it's still happening. It is not time alone that will heal. And not only that, it is not necessary for time to be part of the healing. Yes, work and time together create a very nice healing process. But also, can you connect to God and realize that God is capable of blinking his eye and snapping his fingers? Obviously, God does not have eyes and fingers, okay? Please don't take me there. But in a blink of an eye, and bloop, you are healed. And it's like, what just happened? Because we think that it has to be a certain way. So we make it be a certain way and we drag it And what if God is more powerful than that? And what if God can show you that, oh, I'm done with this. It's no longer necessary. Great. Now I have the skills I need. Now I know what to do. And now I have the support. And now everything is falling into place. And oh my gosh, why did I think it was going to be this hard? So your brain is actually talking you out of getting the help and out of going into this amazing transformation because you're lazy and you're like, I don't want to do it because it's going to be hard work and it's, the timing is wrong and it's not the blah, blah, blah. And my energy level and every other reason in the book why it's just not the right time to do this. And I want to tell you, it's actually the opposite. Now is the best time because now energetically in the world, we are right before Passover. This is when you should be signing up for that. This is when you should be committing to yourself to break through, to be done with all of this nonsense, to live a new life. And I have seen it. I created this program to be 3 months because I have seen the results in 3 months. I actually have seen people have results in less than 3 months. And then we just have fun, sort of like implementing new things and other things. But this is something that is so doable and does not have to be hard. Most of your investment is 1 hour with me on Zoom. That is the most important thing I want from you. And all the other extra stuff that I give you, I have WhatsApp support. And if you don't have WhatsApp, you get email support. I have all of the trainings and all of the sessions, and there's a meditation library. There's a lot of stuff you get in this 3 month period. But really, all you need is to be able to show up for a session just for an hour, just on Zoom, and not even know what's going to happen. Not even have to control it and be like, this is what's going to be, and this is how it's going to happen, and this is what's going to break through. It's like, can you just show up and let it be easy? And this is what I teach my clients all the time is let it be easy because God knows how to do that. He is creative like that. He is the creator and he is able to shorten processes and delete problems and just completely turn around a situation because he's God. So can you connect to God and allow him to show you how to collapse time, how to create a new reality, and stop trying to control it and hold it and be in charge. Stop it. Stop. Okay? So I'm calling you out on this and I love you because I love you. And that's why I'm telling you this. Oh, I hated when my mother told me that. I'm telling you this because I love you. So I'm sorry if this rubbed you the wrong way. It just did for me. I think this is so funny. Anyway, so number 2, can you work with me if you're not married? No, I only work with married women. This is a very clear boundary for me. I have worked with women in all stages and all ages, and I found that the women that I am meant to help, that God wants me to help, are the women who are married. Now, here's the thing. Most of the women who I help are older than me. And this is really interesting for me. I love it. I think it's really awesome. In percentages, I would say 80% of my clients are older than me. So I just turned 40. So you guys all know my age because if you're following me, on Instagram, you saw my pictures holding the 40 balloons. Not 40 balloons, the 40 balloons. But anyway, most of my clients are in their 50s, their 60s, even above, because there is a certain level of readiness. You've already tried everything else. You're like, I did the marriage classes, I did the courses, I went to the therapy, I did the counseling, I dragged my husband to this and that and the other. I read the books and I got all the advice and I just can't crack it. And then they end up here and they're like, wow, that's so cool. That was the first time I had a conversation with my husband where he actually looked me in the eye and said that, right? It was like these things actually happen. And that's why when people say, oh, it's too late for me, I'm like, it's never too late for you. It is never too late because there's something so powerful about committing to yourself at any age. Okay. So if you're younger than me, don't worry about it. I'm here to help you. I love you and I am accepting you in open arms. But I also want you to know that, it really does not matter. It does not matter. You could be like newly married and just realizing that like you think you made a mistake and I don't know what I'm doing and oh my gosh and da 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 and that story and that's okay. We can deal with that too. But also, I've been married for 6 years and I can't deal with my husband anymore and he's, making me crazy for all these years and now I'm getting to the end of my so come, let's talk. Okay. So what's going to happen now is you're going to see down below somewhere link to schedule a discovery call because that is the best way to find out if this is right for you. I am giving you this opportunity to meet with me for a discovery call. It's 60 minutes. What we do is we get to the bottom of what it is you really want and what is the goal that is going to be the thing we're going after during the 3-month period that we're in. And then I'm going to give you the roadmap. I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that and invite you to work with me. If you are ready, great. If you're not ready and this isn't for you and something doesn't feel right, that's also great. I am doing this because just a discovery call is enough to give you a breakthrough. And I am here to serve and I am here to help you no matter what. So this discovery call is so valuable that it's worth every penny of your free time. It's not obviously your time is not free, but like it's free. So you lose nothing, you gain everything. Okay. So I invite you to come and schedule a discovery call. So now let's talk about my program. My program is called Balance for God's Sake, and it is a 3-month private coaching program. Why is it called Balance for God's Sake? Because balance is exactly what I help you do. It is my specialty to help you create balance between your marriage and your business, between your career and your relationships, between, these two parts of you that are pulling you apart. And how do you create balance? Ask any yoga instructor. It's by strengthening your core, right? If you had to do a balance pose, you would need to first strengthen your core and pull everything in. That is what we're doing. That is what we're talking about when we're saying your authenticity, your uniqueness, your superpower, your ability to really hone in on all the parts of you and put them together to align and create something that is so much stronger than just you trying to use one or two muscles, right? So there is something really powerful about your core, and that is what's going to create the balance. Now, take that a step further. Balance for God's sake. You are creating balance because it matters to you that these two things work out, right? For God's sake. Hello, I am running my business because I want to serve God in this way with all of these gifts that he gave me. And I am running this family and nurturing and loving and creating this atmosphere in the home because I want this for God's sake. This is what God put me here to do, to continue the chain, to be a mother, to be a wife, to be. So, hello, what's going on now? Why are they fighting? Why are they pulling me apart? And the answer is they're not meant to. They're not supposed to. Something here is out of balance if they are pulling you apart, because when you do both for God's sake, God helps you align the two and all of you and really hold it all together. He is the unifier of everything that's going on in your life. And that is what we're working on, by the way. So, like, people are like, what do we do in your sessions? I'm like, we get really, really, really clear on what God wants from you. We get really, really awesome answers from God. We free ourselves from the limitations and the baggage and the weight that has been draining your energy. And this way you could just go and do God's will without all of that extra baggage. Okay? So that is what the program is called. And that was a long way of just saying Balance for God's Sake, a 3-month private coaching program. But, there's just so much there that I can't just say that. Private means it's one-on-one. Coaching means that I am the coach and you are coming and we are going to do this together. And I'm holding your hand the whole time and I'm available for you. I took all the parts into account. I want you to be held in all the ways. So there is the sessions. So you get 6 one-on-one sessions with me. And by the way, because of Passover, you get that extra free bonus session, the pre-Passover peace session. Make sure you take advantage of that. It is a very powerful session. So that comes out to 7 if you want to think of it that way. And you get the support of me being in your pocket. Anytime something is going on and, something isn't right or something is like that, I don't care if it's with your husband, if it's with your kids, if your mother-in-law, if your sister, if you don't feel like getting up in the morning, if something is off, I'm here for you. This all legit because I am here holding you through this experience. So you can leave me a message, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed today. I'm feeling really annoyed. I'm resentful. My husband just did this. I can't figure out what to do next. Whatever. Okay? All that, you send it to me and you're like, this is what's going on with me. This is what I'm experiencing. And I'm going to leave you back a message and tell you exactly what you need to do. And it's amazing. People are like, just the WhatsApp support was enough, right? I had one lady who did not feel comfortable going on Zoom and meeting me. So I said, fine, let's just do WhatsApp support. And just through WhatsApp support, she was able to get so far that she then decided to start having the sessions and create even more of the transformation. But the first 3 months were completely just WhatsApp support, and it was amazing. So I don't want you to underestimate the amount of clarity that you can get by telling someone what's going on and getting almost immediate feedback. Okay. Sometimes it takes me a couple of minutes, whatever, if it's in the middle of the night, it could be some hours, but I usually get back to you really quickly with what can you do? How can you change it up? How can you react? How can you think? How can you feel? What can you, whatever? How do you connect? So we have the sessions and then we have WhatsApp support. You also have my entire curriculum. So there are a bunch of sessions that you don't have to do anything, but you get to look through and see what's calling you. There are things there that are just so powerful. These are sessions that are recordings of the masterminds. So when I was giving masterminds in groups, this was these were real sessions that created breakthroughs for these women, and you will actually hear their experience and their processings. Don't worry, everything is blocked out and we changed the voices so you don't know who they are, but you can experience what they're experiencing and you can hear their questions and you can get so much value out of this. Okay, so that's the sessions. There's trainings, which is a bunch of trainings that I have created about sales, about webinars, about how to find your thing, about the work by Byron Katie, about intimacy, about time management, about anything. Just go and look through the trainings and you will find it. And if you don't want to go there and you're like, I don't have time for anything, that's fine. And if I'm talking to you and I see that there is a training that's exactly what you need, I'm going to tell you this is, something that you should watch in the next 2 weeks. And you could and you don't have to, and that's okay. I really don't want you to fall into that like feeling of like, oh, it's too much. I won't be able to do it. No, 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 no. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And I hope I'm being clear. It really is not complicated. Okay. I'm giving you a lot because I love you and I want you to have the access to anything you want. And I want you to also know yourself and know what you need. Okay. So that's your responsibility, is really holding that space for yourself of like, this is what I need right now. I need the space, or I need the time with you. And I need, to be able to just have direct access, or I need you to leave me alone and I'm going to go watch these things. And then I'll tell you what I have questions about. And I've had that with one woman, by the way, who did not even use the WhatsApp support at all. she would go and listen to the trainings and the sessions. And then only after each training, she would send me a message updating me which one she was listening to and what was her takeaways and how this applies to her right now. And what do I think? Do I have anything to add? And it was just so much fun to have somebody like that. And if that's you, that's cool. Okay. So I am here giving you all the things. I want you to be able to take from the buffet what you like and what you need and what serves you. Okay. And the last thing is the meditation library. There is an entire library of meditations, and they have parentheses of how long they are. So let's say, get out of your own way is the meditation name, and then parentheses, 4 minutes, 37 seconds. So you know that if you have 4 minutes and 37 seconds right now, you could turn this on and do it, and it's going to be great. But there are some that are like 20 minutes. There are some that are, 15 minutes. It's so helpful to know how long they are just in the title, because then you just go through it and decide either by the title or by the time you have or whatever it is. But these meditations are powerful. And the way I do these meditations is I record the meditations that I create in the moment with my clients. And then my assistant just, strips all of noise and anything that the client said so that there's no way you could know who it is. And she adds music and she puts it into the meditation library. So by the time you get to watch it or, listen to it really, you are having that experience of having me right there doing the meditation with you. And it's so cool how exact they are and what pearls of wisdom and nuggets of gold come out of these meditations. It is extremely exciting. In the training, when I went live and I said, okay, let's do a meditation, somebody wrote, I love your meditations. This is the reason why I came. And I was like, yay, thank you. So it's very exciting. This entire experience, the 3-month coaching with me, which by the way becomes longer because of Passover, and also you get an extra session. So now is the best time to sign up, just an FYI. This whole experience costs $2,500. It is a very fair price for coaching for 3 months for all the things you get. And I know because I've been here for a long time, and I actually even lowered the price. There was a certain point that it was way higher, and I lowered it because I wanted to get to that tipping point of like the exact amount. $2,500, and there is a payment plan. So if you need it to be a payment plan of 5 months, you can do that. If you need it to be over a year, you can do that. Go and check it out. All the details are going to be in the website, connectedforreal.com/private coaching. You can read all about it. You can watch all the testimonials. You can hear all the amazing things that happen. But bottom line, I want you to realize that this is for you and that this is your time and that you are being called to step into that bigger than yourself thing that is calling you to really sharpen your uniqueness, your gifts, your superpower. We need you to be in that awesomeness. So that is the end for today. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week, and sending you love from Israel. Don't forget to be connected for real.